Mike. Love interview. Hey there. We're having technical difficulties.
Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, it's Mike.
Hey, how you doing,
Sorry.
Mike? I
I'm
guess
good.
I guess we don't have video.
Um, well, yeah, I guess so.
That's okay though.
I don't know.
The audio is the most important thing. How you doing? It's an honor to be speaking to you.
Thank you. Where are you located?
I'm in Los Angeles.
All right. So it's 9 in the morning there, huh?
Yeah. Where are you? You're up in Summer, Montana, aren't you?
No, New Jersey right now. We're at uh, Ocean City, New Jersey.
Oh, yeah, Ocean City. That's a
Just
great
south of
place.
just south of Atlantic City, but yeah, Ocean City is it's very nice. It's like Atlantic City was 50 years ago.
Yeah,
Yeah.
traditional summer place. So, thanks for taking the time out. I'd like to start with the most recent thing I saw, and that is the Disney documentary on the Beach Boys that came out recently. At the end of the film, it's just a one shot. You're looking right into the camera, and you state that you don't speak to Brian very often. And when the interviewer asks you what you'd say to him, you appear to get very emotional, and you say that you would tell him that you love him. What was going through your mind at that exact moment that prompted that? That emotional response.
Well, I was just thinking of, Brian and I have known each other all our lives. I mean, he's maybe a year younger than I, but we grew up singing and birthday parties, Christmas, Thanksgiving, you name it. My mom and their dad, his brother and sister, and so there's never been a time when in my life which I haven't known Brian. And the first recollection I ever remember of him singing was sitting on my grandmother Wilson's lap singing Danny Boy, and his voice was just, it was just amazing. And then later on, as we're teenagers, we got into the same music together. We loved the Everly Brothers. We used to go to a Wednesday night youth night at Angeles Mesa Presbyterian Church in the Baldwin Hills area of Los Angeles, where I lived. He would drive over from Hawthorne, and we go to Wednesday night youth night, and then on the way home from that, we'd walk back to our house with my sister Maureen, who played the harp on a couple of our earlier songs, and we'd sing Everly Brothers in three-part harmony and doo-wops and all kinds of things like that. And then, of course, we just we would literally get kicked out of my house because we had a grand piano, an organ, and a harp in our living room, and we get kicked out because my dad had to get up really early to go to work at Love Sheet Metal, and and so we would go out and Brian's Nash Rambler, turn on the radio and listen to mainly the R&B stations. A lot of blues, a lot of R&B. Um, you know, so we had a exposure to all kinds of music. But the thing that really set the Beach Boys apart in terms of our sound was coming fans of Four Freshmen. In Brian's case, he could sit down at the piano and break down those four-part harmonies, and then he could have them in his head, and I would learn the bass part. Carl would do another part, Alan Jardine would do another part, and Brian would do the top. So that's the thing that's always distinguished the Beach Boys is the love of the harmonies, and that even if people didn't get along or disagreed on certain things, lifestyle choices or whatever it might be, you still get together through the love of the music. And so I think that love permeates everything that the Beach Boys have done, and is one of the main reasons why our music today reaches multiple generations. It's as if that love of getting together and harmonizing, which had nothing to do with money, nothing to do with fame, none of that. It just had to do with the love of harmonizing. And that came from our parents' generation. My mom and her brothers and sisters, my mom was one of 8 children that lived to maturity. And they were, many of them were born in Kansas. And at maybe 5 years old, my mom came to California. And that's where she met my dad in high school. But they had no money. And they camped on the beach originally, and then before they found a home. So, but what they did have, didn't have money, but they had music. And so my uncles sang in a quartet. My mom sang in a trio in high school. It was a big deal because they sang on the radio. You know, my mom sang Madam Butterfly. And so, you know, I mean, the music has just been an intrinsic part of the Wilson love family situation. And of course, there's ups and downs, and you know, all kinds of things that happen that aren't really any fun to talk about. But in the final analysis, whatever could be said, when it's all said and done, I think the love is what it's all about. And so, and that's what I meant when I said to tell my cousin Brian that I love him. I know that certain lifestyle choices are different, and you know, he's not in great shape these days. But I mean, you know, when you hear the Lord's Prayer by the Beach Boys, and when you hear Their Hearts Were Full of Spring, and when you hear In My Room or Surfer Girl or any of those great ballads that we did, I don't think there's any group ever that loved their harmonies as much as we have, and it's a family affair. So that's, I guess, all that went into my response to the question of what would I say to Brian.
Okay, I gotta say, it was a very moving moment for me at the end of the film, because I think for a long time the press has just kind of manufactured this narrative. I know that you've just mentioned that you've had ups and downs, but it seems like a lot of people want to concentrate on that rather than the fact that you've done so much to sell America and the American dream and the culture of the 60s and the 70s. I don't
Mm-hmm.
understand why people want to why they want to focus on that part of the relationship. I thought it was a very beautiful moment. And then at the end of the film, when I saw you guys all meet at Paradise Cove, you had a fist bump and you had a couple of drinks. I thought that was wonderful. This was one of the best things I've seen ever on the Beach Boys. It really flipped the script as far as I'm concerned. Do you think that you're misunderstood in large?
Well, during the '60s, there came a time when there was a lot of drugs going around, and there's some of us who didn't participate in that, and some who did. And so some people thought it was very cool to do acid, and they were having a good time with cocaine or even heroin. But there are those of us who didn't go in that direction. So there became a sort of a schism. We literally took two different planes. One was a smoking plane, and one was a non-smoking plane. To different shows that we were doing at one period in time. And so, there's no question that the drugs became a part of the reality of so many people particularly in the music business. And it's like the a song, Good Vibrations. I came up with the words. Brian did the amazing track, and I came up with the words, but I focused on a girl who was into peace and love and flower power and all the good positive things. No negativity whatsoever. No Vietnam War, no drugs, no nothing. She just loved nature, and that's my contribution to the song Good Vibrations, the lyrics. And I came up with, I'm picking up good vibrations, she's giving me the excitations, which is rhyme with vibrations, right? So so anyway, there is a psychologist in Sheffield, England, about a year and a half, maybe going on 2 years now, who tested bunches of songs, and Good Vibrations came in at number one for making people feel good, which is amazing. Earth, Wind, and Fire was number 10 with September. There's a Bob Marley in there. There's a Pink in there. There's Good Vibrations, and I Get Around were number 1 and number 8 in the top 10 of songs that make people feel good. And I'm not even sure research Kokomo, because that's was number 1 in 1988, and it was number 1 for 8 weeks in Australia, and that's one of the biggest sing-alongs in our show. And we got some big ones: Help Me Rhonda, I Get Around, Fun, 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 all that kind of thing. So to be number 1 for making people feel good, the idea was to accentuate the positive. And that's always been my point of view when doing lyrics. Even if the girl didn't love you anymore, like you were once in love, that's the premise of the Warmth of the Sun, which is a beautiful ballad that Brian and I wrote in the wee hours of the morning, the same day that President Kennedy was taken to the hospital in Dallas. So that was November 1963, and recorded at January 1. We didn't change the words to conform to that terrible situation, but it did carry with us the emotions of that happenstance. And so yeah, we've just done so many things that are so from the heart, that it's impossible not to have love for one another.
That's wonderful, and I'm surprised that the first 10 songs on that list aren't all Beach Boys songs. I totally agree with you about the songs being positive and fun. I know when Little Deuce Coupe comes up in my iTunes, I'll play it 30 times in a row. It's like 1 minute and 53 seconds of pure joy. Talking, it's
Yeah, and
talking about cars or surfing. Yeah, and I've never surfed before, but
yeah,
it sounds great.
yeah. Who wouldn't want to go on a surfing safari after all?
Yeah,
You're right. Absolutely. I mean, we weren't great surfers, but we sure sang about it well.
yeah, and
And it resonated all around the world. I had in 1970, must have been like 76 or 7. I met the Saudi ambassador to the United States in Washington D.C. And he told me, it was Prince Bandar is his name. He told me that he had our cassette in his Austin Healey when he was going to school in England, when going to college. And so, our music has transcended politics, has transcended races, has transcended, every kind of ethnic boundary, religions, you name it. We were at Wolf Trap, this beautiful amphitheater outside of Washington D.C., and this family came down to get an autograph at the side of the stage and take a selfie. That the guys were wearing yarmulkes, and it was fantastic. Of this whole with all this anti-Semitism bullshit that goes on in the world and anti-Israel and all that kind of stuff. Our music, we had top 10 records in Israel on the charts. I remember looking at Cashbox and Billboard, the magazines, to see how we were doing around the world. Yeah, Surfing USA was a hit in in Israel, as well as Australia, New Zealand, Japan, Norway, Sweden, Denmark, Holland, Belgium, Germany. They're more classic American cars from the 50s and 60s in East Germany than anywhere in Europe. The reason being that I think that America and our cars that we sang about represented freedom, relative to what they were undergoing for so many years through the oppression of the USSR. So anyway, it's been a long promised road, as Carl would have said. But it's all good, and the documentary, the Disney Plus documentary, I think gives you a real feeling about how it all came together and how important the family was in what gave rise to the Beach Boys music.
yeah. I thought it was a great documentary because it didn't concentrate on a specific period. It showed you guys in a whole different light. Like it really did show the
Mm-hmm.
love side of the whole relationship and how much you guys really care for each other. And that should be that should be the last thing that you see, or the first thing, or the only thing that you should see. I loved the documentary. Was there a conscious choice to put it on Disney? I'm just curious.
Well, that decision was made by Irving Azoff, who started a company called Iconic, and Iconic is a company that owns a majority interest of the Beach Boys. Because the Beach Boys, left to our own devices, we're kind of we haven't really been the most sensible business people on earth. I mean, I tour as the Beach Boys, and Bruce Johnson has been with me for many years. When Carl Wilson passed away, I went out continued to tour as the Beach Boys in concert, and we've done thousands of concerts. And some say over 6,000, maybe close to 7,000, probably more than anybody has done in the music world. But we love doing what we do. But the thing is, Iconic, Irving Azoff made that deal with Disney. So Jimmy Edwards is the president of Iconic, and he would be the right person to ask about, and you know, how and why did they make the deal with Disney? But tell you what, you know, I grew up going to Disneyland in Southern California, but turns out Disney is a film company, and we've never promoted as many places and as much as we did. I mean, they flew Bruce and I to England, and we did. We actually went to Abbey Road, and we did a Q&A there, and we did so many press interviews, hundreds of them, with people all around the world. It was pretty amazing. So I think it's been a fantastic gift to the Beach Boys music that the Disney Plus documentary has really brought to life the origins of the Beach Boys and the dynamics that went into making our music. And it's really generated a lot of current interest in the group and our music.
Yeah, like I said, I thought it was a great documentary. It's great that Disney's putting on these things that are kind of rewriting the history of a lot of bands. They just did this with the Beatles with the Let It Be film. All we had for years was a video of a band that looked like they were just fighting and hated each other, and they've got another viewpoint, another lens to look at it through, if you were. And now they flipped the script on it, and I think they kind
Well,
of did that.
Frank Marshall is. I just wanted to say Frank Marshall is a movie producer. He did the Bee Gees documentary and did a beautiful job on that. You talk about a heartfelt thing when Barry Gibb said he'd give it all up if he could have his brothers back. You know, I understand exactly what he means and how he feels, and that is a similar feeling that I expressed in the documentary. And that last part of the documentary, that last scene that was taken at Paradise Cove, where we had our first album cover shot there more than 60 years ago for the Surf and Safari album cover. It didn't show up on the film, but we were singing songs, and Brian was coming up with memories of our Harskill days that I'd frankly not thought about or maybe forgotten about. But his long-term memory is very much intact. And we sang a little bit of Hearts Are Full of Spring. We sang a little bit of Surf and Safari, that kind of thing. So it was a very sweet get-together, and I think the feeling of it was captured on film. And I have to thank Frank Marshall for coming up with that scene. And he and Jimmy Buffett had trailers at Paradise Cove, which is an iconic place near Malibu. So anyway, my wife Jacqueline actually suggested that we get together, and Paradise Cove was the place that was chosen. So anyway, it was just a very special feeling, and the feeling that in the music was, I guess, exemplified by our get together there. And so we have a lot to be thankful for in 2024. And we're just about we're going to be coming to the Greek Theater in LA, and then the Rady Shell down in in San Diego, a beautiful amphitheater on the water there. And this week we're at Jones Beach in a couple of days on Thursday. Jones Beach is quite a beautiful, fantastic venue right on the water on Long Island, and it's very close to being sold out right now, which is pretty neat because they say that the Beach Boys have been to Jones Beach more than any other act, which is kind of incredible over the years.
I wouldn't doubt it. If you've played 6 or 7 thousand shows, I mean that's staggering. Um, and it leads to another question: how do you manage to keep up a touring schedule that is almost like it came out of the 1970s, where you just do show after show, night after night? How do you manage that?
Well, on the practical level, we have a great crew that goes in and sets everything up. We have a crew bus and we have a band bus. The band comes in and does what we do. We'll often do a sound check to make sure that we're happy with everything we're going to be hearing in our ears, so we can do our harmonies properly. And we're obsessed with recreating those songs as close to the record as humanly possible. So everybody on stage loves music. They love what they do. Can't wait to do another show. I mean, and the audience response, multiple generations, little children, young teenagers, 20-something-year-olds, their parents and their grandparents will actually come out to a show in many cases. And so you'll see like up to 4 generations at our concerts, and they're all having a good time together. And you don't see that a lot in life. You do at a Beach Boys concert. So for me, it's uplifting and energizing and rewarding to see that our music is appreciated as much today as it's ever been. And our friend John Stamos often says that what the well he points out that negativity is at all-time high and positivity is an all-time low. However, Beach Boys music helps us get through what we have to get through because it call it a sonic oasis. It's a way to get away from all the problems of the world and have you feel some joy in life. And that's always been my focus, is to accentuate the positive.
Well, that's a great philosophy, and that music that you wrote, that's never gonna go out of style. That'll probably be around for 1,000 years. I mean, you sing about a time that was, it's not gonna happen again. There's not gonna be another time like that, and you've immortalized it. It'll never go out of style. Fun doesn't go out of style, and everybody is a teenager at some point. Everybody can relate to those songs.
Yeah. Yeah, whether you're 9 or 90, you're going to enjoy the Beach Boys music, which has always been the case. Our harmonies, related to people who are a generation before us. So, and on a practical level, how do I keep my energy level up? I've learned meditation from Maharishi, transcendental meditation, in December of 1967 in Paris. We were in Paris doing a UNICEF show, United Nations Children's Emergency Fund. It was a Christmas time show. And the curtain opened, and there was Maharishi in the front row with John Lennon on one side and George Harrison on the other. And that was an amazing first row. But just a couple of days later, Maharishi taught us meditation, several of us, and invited me to go to India. In fact, George Harrison and I both had our birthdays in the spring of 1968. He on February 25th, I on March 15th. So therefore, we're both Pisces. And I do a song called Pisces Brothers quite often in our show. And it's about that period of time and that place. and some of the footage from back in the day is pretty amazing. And it's just a tribute to George, who was a great guy, and the whole feeling of the song is one of, again, the one of love and gratitude, really, to Maharishi, because that meditation that he taught me, I do every day and have done ever since, and it keeps my energy level up and the negativity down, and the positivity dominant, so that I can go out and I still do the songs in the original keys. I sing them. I don't lip sync. Um, all the music is live, and all those harmonies are real. Our musical director was 18 years with the Four Freshmen, a recent incarnation of the Four Freshmen, obviously. His name is Brian Eichenberger, and he sings those high parts that my cousin Brian sang in the original recordings, and he does an amazing job on all the ballads. Does an amazing job on "Don't Worry, Baby" too. And so it's just a wonderful thing to make those songs come alive again. And so, if you're an old time fan of the Beach Boys and you started out with us in the '60s, you're going to hear what you heard as a kid coming off that stage and out of those speakers. And to us, that's our, our our obsession is to recreate those songs as close as humanly possible to the original recordings.
And that is something amazing to be doing at this stage. Um, to keep your voice in that kind of condition is just amazing. Not a lot of bands out there that are
Yeah, well,
doing that.
you don't do any harm to it. You don't smoke, you don't drink too much, you don't do drugs and all that kind of stuff. You just meditate and do my thing. And so, my son Christian, he has an album coming out that's called Only Alibis, and we do a song on our show called Some Summer. And Christian sings God Only Knows beautifully. He has a similar timbre to Carl, obviously not identical, but a similar timbre in his voice to Carl. And so when he does God Only Knows, it's really beautiful. It's remarkable. And so, we just have some really great musicians who really love what they do, and we're on this conspiracy to recreate these songs as humanly possible.
Is the show at the Greek Theater one of the highlights of the tour for you? Playing Los Angeles, the hometown crowd?
Absolutely, it's hometown, and it is. It's going to be special. John Stamos is going to join us on that one, and of course he's a huge Beach Boys fan and has been since he was Blackie on General Hospital. Came out to play with us in Washington D.C. in one of our free concerts on July 4th back in 1985. So so he'll be out, and he's a darn good drummer, so he'll be playing the drums. We'll back him up on the song that he chose to record called Forever, which is a song by my cousin Dennis. It was on the episode of Full House where Uncle Jesse got married. So we'll do that song and back him up. So, it's pretty special when John comes out. He's John Stamos. He's really famous. The people love him, and we'll see a lot of Uncle Jesse and the Rippers shirts out there and signs, and he's always a lot of energy and charisma on stage with us.
That is wonderful. I have one question to ask you. It's not even really part of the interview. It's something I have always wondered. I don't know. Can you see my video?
Pardon me?
Can you see my video?
No, I can't right now.
Oh, okay.
I don't know why.
I wanted to ask you. There's this video that you did in the '60s. I just wasn't made for this time. Um,
Oh.
it's done in black and white, and you're kind of sliding down this hill, and you got an arm up. Always wondered if that meant something. I know it's
I don't.
hard to conjure up without seeing it.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I just I don't know. My phone is I'm challenged. What can I say technologically?
Yeah,
Uh,
I get
I'm in
that.
New Jersey. What can I say?
Yeah, I'm being told that it's gonna kick me out in 5 minutes, so if I drop off suddenly, please excuse me. And
Okay.
I could literally, I mean, I could do 3 hours with you. There's so much, so many questions that I had written for this
Well,
about lyrics, and if you've got the
we can
time,
do it another time.
I
We can
would
try it
love
another
that.
time, and another week down the road. Just get in touch with IDPR, and we can go from there.
I would love that because I'm going to state this. I think you're one of the greatest frontmen, singer-songwriters ever in American music,
Oh, thank you.
and your
Thank you
music
very much.
is the soundtrack of my life. I was born in 1962. By the time I was 5, I was listening. So I mean, I was hooked.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, it's the 50th anniversary of the Endless Summer album, triple platinum. It came out in 1974. And here we are 50 years later. We do 18 out of the 20 songs in that double album, which was triple platinum when it came out. It's under the title 20 Golden Greats. It sold 1 million copies in just Great Britain.
Yeah, isn't that the album they credit for kind of reviving the Beach Boys and making them such a big thing again in the 70s?
Oh, sure did. Oh, yeah, for sure. Absolutely.
That's that's pretty much um, all I have for now. I would like to reconnect with you because I would like to go into a lot of the song lyrics and some of the meanings of them, if that's cool with you.
Yeah, we can do that another time. You give it a week or so because we're really busy for the next few days.
I understand, sure. You guys are on tour, and
Yeah,
hopefully I'll see you when you guys make it to the Greek Theater.
that'd be great. Okay, well, thanks a lot.
Thank you, Mike. It's an honor to have spoken to you.
Thank you very much. All right,
Take care. Bye-bye.
we'll talk to you. All
Bye.
right, thank you. Bye.
Bye.